Yeah.
If I asked you now, and I'm going to finish with this, if you could take yourself back to any time in the last 20 years, could you tell me what year it might be, or years?
I would say the stores here were really...
Okay, so that was what
Yeah.
year?
So it was, well, technically we owned it
Oh,
from
06?
04. We owned it from 04 to 2010. You came on board in 06 because that's when you
Okay.
won. But I was there before as well. I started working for Max Muscle in 98. And, but I was there full time in 04 to 10.
All right, so around those years,
Yeah.
I think those were the...
Because I was there every
if
day.
if you could take a time, if you could go back in time, you'd go back to then.
Yeah.
And the weather is here. It was the first weekend we broke the 90s.
I know, it's nice.
But today is beautiful, right? This weather is perfect.
This
today.
is perfect. You can't ask for better than that.
You know what the crazy part is, though? Is it's crazy how cycles people commenting about what content they see, right? I thought for a while, it's educational, and
Yeah.
every Monday we're doing YouTube for Cutler Nutrition now. So I
Okay.
put one video out a week on just talking about whatever products or whatever on the Cutler
That's
Nutrition
good, that's
YouTube. But Jaywalk is the most popular of the month. Meaning,
Bless you.
we have all of Germany. We have a certain demographic that listens to Jaywalk, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, the allergies out
Do
here.
you look at that of, who's
I
watching and where?
well,
and-
people come up and, I ask people how do they know about me, and you can usually see someone that was like a magazine guy versus some of the new generation, right? So the new generation is that, is their father, someone that followed me,
Yeah.
like my career. The parents do bring them, but they do appreciate the jaywalking because I think a lot of people, if they're exercising, they just turn it on in the morning, they kind of listen to it.
Yeah.
So I think that's
it's good
what.
cardio video.
And I always wondered. I mean, we started this thing, and I think it was more like, okay, let's just film content, and then all of a sudden we turned into jaywalking. That
Yeah. I think
the banter back and forth.
it started as a joke, the jaywalking, because I think I remember we were in California. I think we were at the Fit Expo, and we were just filming in the street. And I said, "Oh, let's all jaywalk." And we're a bunch of people. We're all going to the gym. I remember. So I think it's where it come from. But some people say that back in the day, Jay Leno had something called jaywalking.
He
Do you
did.
remember that?
He would stop the people in the street. He was stop. And now it's getting because Jay Leno. I don't even think he's on.
No, he's
late
not on
night.
TV anymore.
Okay, but you'd stop people in the street and ask them like who was the who was the president in like
Oh.
1975 or
Okay.
whatever, just history. Like
I've never seen that.
ask about where is Australia
Oh, yeah.
located and
I know.
or whatever else, and people obviously
no
didn't know
clue.
stuff,
I
right?
know.
But it was pretty funny because it was like obviously the audience would laugh and that was kind of the thing.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
think we talk about a lot of those throwback things, but venturing that down to North Carolina. So I was in Statesville at Genesis with Joe Barker's family and all his people down there, and what's kind of cool is you get a lot of people that come up that have met me from military. I get a lot of prior to the event people say, "Okay, I'm coming to see you," and it's amazing how many people you meet over the years, and people actually sending me pictures and like of when I met them the first time, and then
Yeah.
going to see them again. And I used to travel to the Carolinas a lot, and
Right.
man, when I go down there, it gives me like a lot of that area was similar to how I grew up. You remember go to my house and being
Yeah.
those skinny roads.
Yes.
There's no white lines or
Right.
any kind of yellow lines on the roads. It's just like a straight
Yeah.
road that's very narrow, and those are like the back roads to where I grew up.
Right.
And
Yeah, I remember.
very simplistic. And I think that bodybuilding, because of the entertainment side, and I consider it kind of an entertainment because you're getting on a stage, you're performing, right? you have to come out of that small town vibe
Yeah.
in order to really excel and be available. And back when you had no choice. You had no choice. If you wanted to be featured the most, you had to go where the magazines were, right?
Right.
So when I moved to California, I had to give up a lot of that mentality of that old school kind of upbringing. But that's where I got the core of the hard work.
Yeah.
I always tell everyone, the first thing I tell people is, about my background, how I got into bodybuilding was, it started with the concrete. My brothers giving me that job at 11, starting Cutler Brothers Concrete.
Jeez.
And then, working on the weekends and school vacations and learning that scheduling and that discipline to be able to, it was never about chasing the money. It was about getting the job done.
Yeah.
And I think those values now is like, I think you have to, I think it's kind of switched where, that hard work and that commitment, that was more enticing than the financial reward, which I feel that nowadays, because of, I feel the financial crisis and what people percept, everything that you think about, all the stuff you send me. And I hate talking a little bit about politics, but it all relates to taking the freedom, and people look at freedom as financial as part of the freedom process,
Of course.
right?
Of course.
Kind of the whole world revolves around money, right?
Yeah, it's kind of
And
sad.
I see all these things now with these wars and Israel and
Yeah.
you
Does that get to you at all?
you know what, I mean, the problem is like now with social media, you see all these stats out there, like,
Yeah.
if X amount of dollars is being sent there, where could those dollars be used for the U.S.?
I know.
And, that's the crazy thing is, priorities and people's opinions are just skewed, right? Where we should be helping the homeless situation or
we have so
safety
many
in schools or,
borders.
people have, of course. There's just so much to it, Dave, right? There's one that's really vicious and one that's not, tries to stick his
There's
teeth.
two of them?
Yeah. But I think, Dave, I think that there's a lot of misinformation, and I feel like, people just want to talk about, they want to gossip about how terrible it is, but, once again, it takes more than one man to take a stand, right?
Yeah.
And, all our tax dollars, it's questioned where it is, especially like someone like me that, I've been an entrepreneur for so long, right? So, I look at like a whole, owning a business. I'm not punching a clock. I mean, you look at now with like McDonald's paying $20 an hour in California.
That's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine as a kid? I mean, that was $5 an hour.
I know.
When we were young, right?
I know.
So,
yeah.
so we're at a big crisis, dude. So does it bother me?
Yeah, I'm always wondering about that. Because
mean,
your life is different than like quote unquote regular people.
It is, and I don't want to say I'm kind of hidden from it, but it's like when you bring it up to me, I say, well, dude, it's what we deal with, right? Because I have so many more objective things to handle on a daily than I'll lose sleep on that. Someone like me, it's like I don't want to harp on something because you just kind of let stuff hit you and roll with it, because otherwise that would just build up and it's for a collapse,
I mean, it's better to take it the way you do, I guess.
It's just like, airline travel's getting so expensive. I mean, for me to travel, it's not as comfortable as it used to be.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's come back, but for someone that travels for a living, let me put him aside and then I'll.
Yeah.
Okay, come on.
All right, we're back on. Phone's inside. Can't do more than one lap.
Yeah, I was thinking about yeah, he doesn't like to. I don't know what the deal is. I was thinking about like since the beginning, and when I was punching a clock doing golf course.
You loved that though.
I loved it. When I was doing teen nationals, I was just telling someone how I was on the podcast with Ron Partlow, yeah, and Dusty and those guys.
He's great.
Scott. I was talking about how, when I was getting ready for teen nationals, we talk about efficiency with time. So Chris Aceto was a huge advocate of fasted cardio.
Yeah.
Okay, so meaning you get up in the morning, you boost the metabolism, you burn up whatever's in your bloodstream, and you use that as energy, right?
Yeah.
I feel I always had great results. I mean, I've done cardio later in the day. It's just about metabolism boosting. So it would make a lot of sense, the theorists that say it's not necessary. But I always liked it. I know you didn't prefer it.
First thing in the morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I was getting up at 3 in the morning to ride the bike, prep my food, and I had to be on the golf course literally for the sun to come up. So
Wow.
whether that was 4:30, 5 o'clock, remember I only lived 10 minutes from my job.
Wow.
And I went across town, there was no traffic where we grew up, 6,000 people, right?
Wow.
So I'd be sitting there on the mower, like cooler strapped in the front, but I was dedicated to getting ready for that teen show, and I had no money, Dave, like I was struggling, okay, to get there. My dad bought the ticket for me to fly to Teen Nationals. My mom and my sister came with me, and Carrie came.
Oh, nice.
And we went to Raleigh, Durham. And I remember at the time, you know, I never would have done that show. There was a guy, Lou Zawick, that had a show called American Muscle Magazine.
Right.
And he actually said to me, Jay, I'll take care of the ticket. Just book it. You're going to compete and whatever. And needless to say, my dad helped out with the ticket. I went there, won my division, competed against Branch Warren.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, the rest is history. I mean, I was able to get to California on that Boston Globe misprint, $99 round trip airline tickets.
Wow.
So Carrie and I flew out there in July after that Teen Nationals around June. I just graduated college, and we got to venture into Gold's Gym Venice. We stayed at some shitty hotel on Lincoln, probably pretty close to where your store is, and we walked to Gold's Gym. Think about how far that is.
Yeah.
It's pretty far, right?
Yeah, but in Cali, when you first get there, you don't mind the walking. It's so beautiful.
So we're in the, think about this, dude. I'm in the T. Michael sweatshirt, the baggy pants. I have the bleach blonde hair.
Your Tommy shoes.
And we're walking down Lincoln trying to find Gold's. And remember, this is before phones.
Yeah.
And maps, and
Yeah.
we just have this little piece of paper that says, go down here, take a right on
Yep.
Venice, and you go to, you know, we didn't know.
Oh, man.
So if I didn't take that chance, I never would have possibly be as motivated.
Yeah.
I never would have met Ed Connors.
Yeah.
That's why we had a very pivotal moment for my career.
Of course.
You know, you meet certain people that it's the network.
Yeah.
So when I travel every single week, people say, why do you do so much? You don't have to do it anymore. I love the network.
Yeah.
I love meeting the people. You just never know.
That's right.
You just never know of
Who you're gonna meet.
the
who's
friendship,
yeah.
the opportunities, the memories, the motivation. Every single week, the motivation that I get from people being like, I watched this, or I saw this, and you taught me this. And, you know, most of it's, of course, the 06, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we were all,
I get it.
we were all
understand.
floored.
Yeah.
That was like your gloating time, because
Oh.
you were finally able to say, because every show you're like, Jay's going to win this year.
People thought I was crazy. They would make fun of
Yeah.
me. These fucks. Oh, it was great for me. It's like just
But-
almost as good as if I won.
But that's what bodybuilding today, I feel like it lacks
I know.
maybe a little bit of that, the aura of
Yeah.
like what I can become.
It's
Maybe
different.
some guys it's like that.
Yeah,
but-
maybe.
But like, where's the dream to go west and the necessary requirements other than just to get on your phone
Right.
and film in your gym or at your house, no matter what planet, whatever.
I think that's a
where
big
you are on the
difference.
planet, you know?
You hit the nail right there. I think the social media has changed things.
But don't you think that they're missing that experience to walk in Gold's Venice when
Of
it's
course.
like it's the hottest gym? and walk and go to the firehouse and eat a meal.
Of course.
And the who's who are walking around.
Meeting the photographer
Venice.
for all the magazine that goes Venice.
Yeah, that is
Oh,
behind
wow.
the lens of all those.
They were all there.
They're swarming, waiting for
Polo
the next
Crane,
one.
all these guys.
Waiting for the next
Yes.
star to come through.
They were kind of like recruiters.
Yeah.
You know, like baseball scouts.
Yeah.
They were like roaming those gym, waiting to see the next star.
It's kind of funny when I would text you and say, so who came through? And you'd be able to tell me, oh, there was this freak or,
Yep.
or even the women, right?
Yeah.
That came through.
That was fun. That part was fun. You never knew on any given day, you know, who was going to show up. But it was really great for us around the Arnold or around the Olympia.
Well, it was even better for you at the store. You know, the guy was telling
Yeah.
me on that podcast the other day, he went down to Max Muscle and he was hoping to see me.
Of course.
And you said, oh, Jay's in somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
But he said, hey, buddy, come here. And you handed him a signed autograph picture. And he had it framed, bro. And it was me holding the Olympia trophy like
Oh,
this.
really?
A blue one, yeah. So you gave it to him. And he mentioned your name. And he's like, yeah, Dave Borley gave this to me. And
Oh, that's
I thought that was
awesome.
pretty cool.
I've met a lot of people in that store, man. A lot of people. That was great for that. So much
That's
fun.
what I talk about, networking. So
Yeah.
if I asked you now, and I'm going to finish with this, if you could take yourself back to any time in the last 20 years, could you tell me what year it might be or years?
I would say the stores here were really...
Okay, so that was what
Yeah.
year?
So it was, well, technically we owned it
Oh,
from
06?
04. We owned it from 04 to 2010. You came on board in 06 because that's when you
Okay.
won. But I was there before as well. I started working for Max Muscle in 98. And, but I was there full time in 04 to 10.
All right, so around those years,
Yeah.
I think those were the...
Because I was there every
if
day.
So if you could take a time, if you could go back in time, you'd go back to then.
Yeah.
So
I
guys,
think I would.
mention if you guys stop by the store during those times, guys, mention it. Tell us a little story. You got to meet Dave.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a million out there. But once again, for our jaywalking, we're kind of throwing it back.
I know.
We appreciate all your comments on
good
here,
years.
guys. But tell us your Gold's Gym Venice
Story.
your Venice visit story, and man, maybe it's something like us where
You make
it's
me
like,
feel like I want to go back now. I want to go
I
back
know,
to
it's-
train at Gold's.
I know. We
We're
will.
gonna go, we're
We're
gonna
gonna
go.
go. We'll be there
Yeah.
for Memorial Weekend, and
We'll
we
film,
appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Share, like, subscribe, follow, and we'll see you at the next Jaywalk.
All right.
When we get
Unboxing.
started, yep. Rice and grinds.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a variety pack.
Oh. Like single packets?
Yeah, it looks like. Wow,
Oh, it's nice. Convenient.
sick. Yeah,
That's new?
this is nice. Yeah, it just came out. So big shout out to Pride Foods.
Awesome.
Sean and the team over there. He got me a whole show how, there's a whole bunch, so it's a bunch of variety packs.
Oh, nice.
So thank you, Sean, and the crew over there.
No mercy for you, no worries for you. That Game of Thrones, go Cersei on you. I flipped the script, I roll the dice. Don't fall asleep, cause I'm working nights. Hey, you trying to shut